What is going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar, and today I'm bringing you guys the NPCC draft analysis. Now, I will not be going over every single team because that's just silly. I'm going over my team, the team that I drafted, the team that I'm so proud that I have. Now, before I go into my actual team, I have a little bit of housekeeping to do. First off, I want to thank Dhilan and Erik for recording the clips that you will see in the bottom left-hand corner of this video. Thank you so much, guys. You really helped me out since I don't have a capture card. Second, Krow. I don't know what you would prefer to be called, but I know you as Krow. Thank you for the Thank you for the awesome layout, as I was saying before my phone went off. Thank you for the awesome layout. It really looks cool. There was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh, so about the draft and the way it went down. We did the typical snake style. We were using the GBA Season 4 tiering system. I personally don't like those tiering systems. There's a lot of flaws in it. Like there's OUBs that should be OUA that I took advantage of that I think people are going to realize. There are RUs that should be at least UUs in my opinion. So there's a lot of flaws in these systems, and I think that they'll realize it because this is the first season of the league. This is where all the flaws get out. So we had a point system. We had 1,000 points on the first 9 mons. Now that might seem like a lot, but it's really not, considering the fact that OUAs are 180, OUBs are 140, and OUA and OUB megas are the same price. So if you want an OUA, an OUB, and an OUA mega, then you're instantly behind like 200 points, and you have 800 for like, it's hard to do. So with that being said, I just want you guys to know that I think that I drafted the best team that I've ever had, the best team that anybody has ever had in draft format. I just want you guys to know that before we go in. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the draft analysis. So the first Pokemon that I wanted was Victini. In the notable traits, I only have 3 things because Victini is Victini. It can do anything and everything. It's kind of like Mew, but with a less wide move pool. It hits so hard with V-Create that it's almost broken how hard V-Create hits. It has an insane move pool in physical and special. It has the amazing U-turn potential. It has awesome status ailments that it can inflict with Will-O-Wisp. It can be a multitude of sets with leftovers, Life Orb, Choice Band, Choice Scarf. There's so much that this one Pokemon can do that I wanted to actually base my entire team around just Victini. I wanted to get perfect type coverage with Victini. I wanted to get a good core, a good Fire, Water, Grass core based around Victini, and I had one in mind. At the point in time where I was drafting this, I did not know what I want the rest of my team to be. I went in with the mindset of, let's just see what I can get. I knew I could get Victini because I was 3rd overall. There's only 8 people, so I was 3rd one way, and I think I was like 5th the next way, 6th, something like that. I don't really care to do math right now. But Victini is the perfect first round pick. It can do anything I want. At any point in time, I can slap it on a team and be like, okay, this can be something that I can fill in later on. We saw Mega Mogwai use it in the GBA perfectly. It's honestly one of my favorite Pokemon in the draft format, and honestly I think it might be the best non-Mega. That's just my opinion. There are a couple other that are very high up there, and I also got them on my team, so that just goes to show how broken this team is. But Victini was my first pick. Not a whole lot to say about it. We all know what Victini does, but with that, let's go ahead and see what I built around Victini, and then you'll see why Victini is going to be such a powerhouse on this team. So after Victini, I got Manaphy. Another all base 100 quote-unquote pixie Pokemon that's not really a pixie. This thing is insane at what it can do. It can be fat, it can set up, Calm Minds, Tail Glows. It is the best special sweeper in the entire format. I said that in my GBA power rankings, and I believe it to all that I can ever admit. Manaphy has just the most potential out of everything. It can carry Knockoff, Heal Bell, U-Turn, Scald, which is the best move in the game, Ice Beam, like Energy Ball. It can carry so much that you just don't know what to do against it. It can be so annoying with the fact that it gets Rest and Rain Dance, so it's very hard to kill, and it's not even like that its recovery is like 50%. If it's at 10% and you don't kill it and it goes for Rest, it's back up to full. not just 50% like recover, rest, roost, not rest. There is so much that Manaphy can do. I got swept by it in the PPLD too. Since I have it, I can't get swept by it. That is awesome. This is just the perfect Pokemon to go with Victini. Victini and this Pokemon together, they're going to be very hard to break down, or they're going to be something that just tear through the opponent together because they complement each other so well. Manaphy has a 4 move slot syndrome a lot of times with Tail Glow, Scald, Ice Beam, and Energy Ball, or Hidden Power Fire, or what have you. I don't have to carry Hidden Power Fire on this. I have a Victini with V-Create. I don't have to carry like Hidden Power Ice on Victini or Glaciate on Victini because I have a Manaphy that can carry Ice Beam. Like, these two complement each other so well, and base 100s all around are some of the best Pokemon in the format. Jirachi, Manaphy, Victini, Mew, there's so many of them that are just perfect, and these two complement each other so well that it's going to be a pain for people to take it down, and until they realize it, they're going to be like, holy shit, what did we just let him draft for the first 2 rounds? But it's not over yet, because my 3rd round pick is twice as scary as Victini and Manaphy combined. So for my 3rd round draft pick, I picked QmBlack. This Pokemon is so good that it is actually considered to be broken in some leagues. The PPL has banned it. There have been so many leagues that have it as an S rank or like an Uber's rank, like a top tier rank, to where people just are, they don't know how to use it. They're scared to go up against it. There is so much that this thing can do that it's insane. It hits so fucking hard. Look at that attack stat. Base 170 attack stat. I don't have to run Adamant to Oko stuff with Outrage and a Choice Scarf. I can be Jolly Choice Scarf with Outrage and Oko everything. This thing can also be an amazing mixed attacker. It has base 120 special attack, so it can rock, Earth Power, Ice Beam. It has Terravolt, which acts as Mold Breaker, so things like Excadrill, or not Excadrill, things that have Levitate, I can hit with Earth Power, which is amazing. So like Rotom Washes, they don't wall me, or Rotom Heats, they don't wall me. I can hit them with an Earth Power. This thing is insanely good. It has amazing potential, along with the fact that it gets awesome coverage in the forms of like Iron Head. It can get Zen Headbutt. It can get Bolt Strike and Fusion Bolt. It's so freaking powerful. Base 95 speed is not the best, but it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. Like, you gotta think that Darmanitan is base 95 speed, and that thing tears through teams. This thing doesn't have U-turn, so it's not as easy to do, but you drop it in there for free, and something is either going to die or lose at least 50% of health. Most physically defensive walls can't even take hits from this thing because it is so powerful. This also starts my Dragon Fairy Steel Core, which I think that if you don't have a Fire, Water, Grass, and a Dragon Fairy Steel Core, you are screwed in the league format, because unless you have those 2 cores specifically, there are just so much that, there are so many things that, unless you have those 2 cores, there are so many things in the league format that can hurt you. Like, if you don't have a Grass type and you have a Fire and a Water type, a decent mixed special attacker can really hurt you, or something like Stealth Rocks could really hurt you, or Edgequake could really hurt you. Also, with Dragon types, you have to remember that there's nothing that can compare to a timid max special attack Draco, a jolly max special attack Outrage. There is nothing in the game that can compare to it aside from like V-Create, Flare Blitz from Darmanitan, things of that nature. This thing is so insanely powerful that I cannot wait to use it. A very good friend of mine, Tom, from the GBA Power Rankings guy that I do stuff with, this is his favorite Pokemon in the draft format, and I see why. I'm just really excited to use it, and hopefully I do it justice the way he did. He was amazing with QmBlack. But the one thing I am starting to notice is that I am starting to get a little bit Stealth Rock weak. I have 2 Pokemon that are, I don't want to say super weak to Stealth Rocks, but they take 25% from them. That's no bueno, especially since Stealth Rocks are considered a staple in draft format, even though I don't understand why, because you're never guaranteed to get them up and they're never guaranteed to stay up. So why people account for them so much, I don't understand. But I need to take that into account in my next couple of drafts. So I did start to notice this. But my next Pokemon I wanted to get my grass type to complement my fire and water type. So let's go ahead and see my next pick. My next pick was Shaymin. 3 all base 100s for my fire water grass core in Victini, Manaphy, and Shaymin. This is the fire water grass core that dreams are made of. 3 insanely bulky Pokemon. 3 insanely hard-hitting Pokemon, 3 very versatile Pokemon. This is another Cleric that adds to my team. Manaphy gets Heal Bell, this thing gets Aromatherapy. This also has Healing Wish support that is extremely important in draft format. I think that I have lacked my entire career in the draft format. So that is something that I definitely wanted to have. This thing also has a very interesting ability of Natural Cure. So that means that some of my sweepers that are fast that you will see later on, if they get paralyzed, they're a little screwed, like Choice Scarf Kyurem. If I want to run Choice Scarf Victini, if they get paralyzed, they're screwed. So if I think that a status is coming my way, I can switch into Shaymin, take the status, switch back out, and the status is gone. So that's one really good thing about Shaymin that I really like, the fact that it can be supportive in many ways. Also, this thing actually made me lose a game in the PPL. A friend of mine named Chaos in the Sky, if you don't know him, go check him out. He has a really cool channel. He beat me with a Shaymin, and he beat me because I slept on it. Because whenever you think of Shaymin, you think that it has Earth Power, Grass coverage, Psychic coverage. Cool story, right? Until you go up against it, and then you realize, holy shit, this thing is bulky AF, and I don't know how to kill it. It lives so many hits. This thing is just amazing. Seed Flare having the ability to drop your opponent's special defense by 2 stages. Think about that for a second. You have a Latias. I go for Seed Flare. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but you get the -2 Spadef. All of a sudden, your Latias isn't so bulky, and it's not going to be taking like a Hidden Power Ice. It's not going to be taking a lot of moves that it should normally take, just because Seed Flare has such a high chance to lower the special defense by 2 stats. Yes, it can miss, but it's fantastic. This core is amazing. I'm so looking forward to the time where I can just bring all 3 of these mons in one battle and just work with them, because they're so powerful. I love Shaymin as a Pokemon. It's awesome. I hated it at first, but now I'm really starting to love it. As you can see though, I don't have any Rock Setters. I have 2 U-Turners, which is really nice. I don't have a Steel type. I don't have a Volt Switcher, and I really like Fighting Stab, so as you can probably tell where this is going, my next pick, in fact, was Cobalion. Now, Cobalion, it went 18-4, I believe, in the PPLD2. That is insane. The fact that this thing with base 90 attack and 90 special attack can do that well is absolutely crazy. This thing has a base stat defense of 129. That is also really, really high for a Pokemon that's normally offensive. Base 108 speed outspeeds the base 105s, base 100s, Garchomp at base 102, things like that. And this also gives me a very reliable Fairy Killer, because while Moonblast is neutral, this still allows me to set up on fairies. This allows me to go for Iron Heads. This allows me to Volt Switch on them if I think that I'm about to get hit by something. There's a lot that Cobalion can do. There's a lot that Cobalion can do that just people don't recognize. This thing is also insanely good at double dancing. Swords Dance Rock Polish, just regular Rock Polish, just regular Swords Dance. This thing is also very easy to underestimate in its power because it's only base 90 attack. But the second that you have a Life Orb on it, the second that you have it, because you don't have, whenever you have a base 108 Mon, that outspeeds 15 points base lower than that. So if it's below base 90, I can run an Adamant Nature on this. I think it's like 93. If it's base 93 or lower, I can run Adamant on this and it hits a little bit harder, then slap on a Life Orb and it hits harder. There's just ways to stack this thing's power. It's just so good. It's so good at utility as well because it gets access to moves like Thunder Wave. It's just, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to use Cobalion. I originally had it in my draft plan for the PPLD2 before Trav sniped me. Thanks, Trav. I hate you, but not really. And This is just something that I'm so glad I got to pick up. This is one of those low tier mons that shouldn't be. This was an RU mon. Yes, I realize that it's low tier on Smogon, but in the draft format, Cobalion is fantastic. Like, it's a lot better than people give it credit for, so it should easily be like UU or BL. It's a very good Pokemon. So, as you can see, I still have not grabbed a Defogger, which is very important to me. I do not have a ground type. So these are all things that I'm keeping a mental note of in my head that I don't really like. But one thing you will notice is that I'm stacking weaknesses a little bit. I have 2 fighting weaknesses. I have 2 fire weaknesses now. There's just 3 ground weaknesses. Like, I'm stacking weaknesses a little bit, and I need to keep that in mind for the rest of my team. But I knew I needed a defog support, and my favorite defog support in the format is Gligar. I drafted it in the PPL D2. You guys know what it does for me. You guys know what I like to do with it. I'm very unpredictable with Gligar. I'm very good at going for the Double Dance set and baton passing. Granted, I didn't get to pull it off in the PPL D2 because of certain circumstances. I got frozen by Jack, and I didn't have to versus Chi. There was a lot that Gligar had to offer at this point in time in the draft. I started to look at it and I was like, oh my god, how is this thing still available? Has Earthquake Stab, Knockoff. This is another U-turner, which is fantastic for me. Another Stealth Rock setter, so I now have 2 of them. And a Defogger. This is also something to where if I don't have to run Defog one week, like, there are some teams that don't have a lot of Stealth Rockers. I apologize that I keep having to cut because I keep coughing, but I'm starting to get a little sick from the cold weather and stuff like that, so I do apologize, but just bear with me for a little bit longer. This is almost done. So Gligar was a Pokemon that it has so much to offer for my team, and the fact that it's great utility. I've run it offensive. It can do a lot of damage if it's ran offensively with Swords Dance, even if it's just like regular Swords Dance and it's not like any attack investments, just +2 attack. It's very powerful. This also gives me an immunity to electric to help out Manaphy, because a lot of things that can hurt Gligar, Manaphy can soak up, like ice hits and water hits, and the electric and grass stuff that Manaphy can't really take, Gligar can take a little bit, and so can Victini. So those are 2 things that I really kept in mind whenever I picked Gligar. This isn't like a resistance to rocks, because it still takes 12% because it's weak and then resisted, so it's just neutral. So I really do like Gligar on this team. I like Gligar on any team, to be honest. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. But you guys know how much I use Gligar in the PPL. It's fantastic. I've actually considered drafting it again in the PPL just because it's so good. But I wanted more hazard control because hazards still really hurt my team. I don't have a Mega yet. So instantly, I also don't have a lot of wall core options. Like, I don't have, okay, this is my dedicated wall. I have a lot of bulky things, but I don't have a wall. So, I got Mega Sableye. Mega Sableye is so important to this team. Magic Bounce. Usually whenever you have a Mega Sableye on your roster, it scares people from bringing hazards against you. Trav had people successfully put up hazards on him twice in 11 weeks. Like, that's not a lot, especially considering the fact that it's just a Mega Sableye. That's it. But the Magic Bounce scares people so much from having their hazards put back on their side of the field. This thing doesn't have the worst attack stat for a massive wall. So options like max attack, sucker punch, shadow sneak, knockoff, fake out, fire punch. There's a lot of options with this thing. This thing is also a spin blocker. So say I do decide to go hazard stack on my opponent. I don't have spikes currently. Spoilers. That's a lie. I don't have spikes currently, but if I wanted to go a hazard stack option, this kind of sort of limits what they can do as a rapid spin option. So I want to get something that was like a Defiant user, something that could scare them from going for Defog later. So there was a lot that I wanted to keep in mind whenever I drafted Mega Sableye, but this thing is just so good. It hits decently hard. It walls so much. This also gives me Will-O-Wisp options, which Will-O-Wisp is my favorite status to have in draft format. I now have 2 Will-O-Whispers, I have a Thunder Waver, like there's just so much that this Pokemon can do. Also, it gets 1 turn of priority before like when it Mega Evolves, because that's the way speed tiers work. So it's so amazing. I love Mega Sableye, and I've never gotten a chance to use it in draft format, so this is my time, because I'm never going to get another team like this one again. It's just not possible with the way my team was built. So now I have my Dragon Fairy, I have my Dragon and Steel, I need my Fairy, I have my Fire, Water, Grass, I have my bulky Ghost type with Will-O-Wisp, I have a Magic Bouncer, I have a Defogger, I have a Ground Immunity. Like, I'm starting to actually build up everything that is needed for this team. The one thing that is missing is a Fairy. Now, for this Pokemon, I can apologize, I don't have clips for it in the bottom left-hand corner, because I don't have this Pokemon in my box. I've never used it before. I just know what it does, and that is Aromatisse. So, Aromatisse is a type of Pokemon that it's looked down on as not the best Pokemon. Like, it's not very bulky. You, sir, are wrong. Look at the HP and defense on this Pokemon. Look at the special defense on this Pokemon. It gets Wish, it gets Heal Bell, it gets Aromatherapy, it gets Stab, Moonblast, it gets Trick Room. It has a special attack stat of 99, which is not weak by any stretch of the imagination, so it can be a Trick Room supporter, it can be a Trick Room sweeper, it can be a Calm Mind user. There is so much that this Pokemon can do for my team that it really helps. This also kind of sort of scares people away from going full Dragon offense on me, because right now it kind of does look a little promising outside of Cobalion. Dragons kind of sort of hurt my team with Dracos and Outrages and things like that, especially setup ones, so this kind of sort of stops that, which makes me extremely happy. I really like this Pokemon. I think it'll do really well. I don't think it'll be something that's brought every single week, but when it is brought, it'll help out the team a lot, because there are some teams that have insane dragons that I'm honestly really scared of. Like my week 1 opponent, he has Dragonite, which is extremely scary. But Aromatisse, it was a fairy that was there. It was cheaper. I like it. That's why I picked it. So right now, another thing I started to notice, thanks to a couple of my friends in the PPL, that I'm kind of sort of weak to bird spam. Like Talonflame, Staraptor, Honchkrow, Tornadus, they kind of hurt my team. So I wanted something that could take on a flying type decently well, that was bulky. And there's not a lot that can do this. There's steel types, which I already have 1 steel type, I don't want to add another. And then there's rock types. And I started to look at the rock types, and I started to look, and I dropped down to the NU tier for this, and I was like, holy shit. Reggie Rock is still available. Look at that defense stat. You mean to tell me that I needed something to block bird spam, and I got a rock type with base 200 defense? Okay, I'll take it. This thing is also not limited to just being especially a physical wall. It can be a special defense wall, because with base 200 defense, you don't need to invest in defense for it to be fat AF on that side. I really, really like it. This also gives me another rock setter, so I now have 3. Or wait, do I have 3 or do I have... Yeah, I have 3 rock setters. This also gives me another Thunder Waver. So it can do a lot. This also has been used many different ways in the PPL. If you don't know what I'm talking about, good. I'm going to use it against you. If you do, shoddy and shroom, because I know you know what I'm thinking of. And Rye. If you're watching this, you all know what I'm thinking of. But this thing just has so much to offer. It's so good. It's so fat. And I really like the edge quake that it can bring to my team, along with not stab Drain Punch, but it gets Drain Punch for recovery, so it's not completely left out with no recovery. It's so good. I love Reggie Rock as a Pokemon. I hated Reggie Rock until I joined the PPL. And then I got to know Shoddy and Shroom, and I fell in love with Reggie Rock. It's so amazing. But those are my first 9 Pokemon. That was what I got with my 1,000 points. So, to summarize what I got with my first 9, I got Victini, Manaphy, QmBlack, Shaymin, Cobalion, Gligar, Mega Sableye, Aromatisse, and Reggie Rock. Now we have 3 more picks completely free. We can get whatever the fuck we want. So as you could tell, I don't have an electric type. Not only do I not have an electric type, I don't have immediate answers to setup sweepers. I also said I wanted something to stop people from going for defog. So, I got Thundurus Incarnate. It has Defiant, which is exactly what I wanted. It also has Prankster. For Prankster, Thunderwave, for things like Volcarona, maybe Mega Metagross if it sets up a Rock Polish. Like, there's so much that this thing can do with Prankster T-Wave that it's amazing. Instant Volt Switch, because it's I don't want to say it's super fast, but it's base 111, so it outspeeds base 110s by 1 point, which is fantastic. Has knockoff, it has good mixing potential and superpower. It also has access to U-turn if I know that my opponent has a really good ground type. It's just so, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I got this thing. A lot of teams don't really go over the base 110 speed tier. I'm gonna go take a quick look. I will be right back. Okay, so I just double checked to make sure that I wasn't completely bullshitting you, but normally teams have about one thing on average that is faster than base 110. Prankster Thunderwave then makes it not faster than base 110, so this thing is fantastic for that. Also, Stab Thunderbolt is nothing to laugh at. The only thing I can say I dislike about this Pokemon in general is its lack of flying stab. I have to rely on Hidden Power Flying, which I'm okay with, I just don't really I don't really want to. Also, the fact that it has Nasty Plot, so it's a very threatening special setup sweeper. If I bring this thing in on a water type and they switch out and I go for a Nasty Plot for free, it's going to hurt teams. It's going to be something that they have to watch out for. This also gives me more Volt Turn to add to my already, I think I have 5 Volt Switchers and U-Turners now. I have Thundurus, Cobalion, Gligar, Manaphy, and Victini. So I have 5 Volt Switchers or U-Turners, which is exactly what I wanted. So if I wanted to run Hyper Offense with Volt Turn, I can. I'm not forced into running bulky offense with my team every single week, which is really nice. And this Pokemon is just, another ground immunity. I'm so happy with this pick. I'm so happy that it lasted all the way down to me. And now, whenever it came back to me, a lot had gotten sniped from me. Zapdos got sniped before Thundurus. Before I took Thundurus, there was Landorus Therian. That got sniped from me, even though it would have been another 4 times Ice Weakness, so I think that getting sniped was for the better. But this was a Pokemon that I wanted to get from the very beginning. No matter what, I said I wanted Victini and this Pokemon. And that, my friends, is Scolipede. People laughed when I picked this Pokemon. Oh my gosh, why would you laugh at a Pokemon that is base 112 speed with speed boost? Go ahead, I'll let that sink in for a second. 112 with speed boost. What that means is that even Scarf base 110s don't outspeed this thing if I go for 1 Protect. That is it. This is also very good to kill Psychic types, because at this point in time, all I have really for it is Mega Sableye, and they normally kill. This also gives me another very reliable Fairy killer, because Fairies are very important in the format. I really do think that, I think they're the most important typing to have in the format, so to have 2 ways to kill them in Scolipede and Cobalion is absolutely amazing. Base 100 attack might not seem like a lot, but you would be surprised when you start doing the calcs how much this Pokemon does. It's fantastic. It has access to setup on almost every single side of the spectrum. The only thing it doesn't set up is Special Attack and Special Defense. It has Sword Stance, it has Iron Defense, and it has Speed Boost. Think about that. Iron Defense on a super speedy Pokemon. This also gives me access to another Baton Passer, which I really like Baton Pass in the format. I can pass a Sword Stance and Speed Boost and an Iron Defense into one Pokemon and sweep. That is insane. Bug Stab is also something that's very nice to have. That's why Scizor and Mega Scizor are so good in the format, along with things like Mega Heracross and other bug types like that. I really think they are. And it also gives me access to Spikes and Toxic Spikes. I have access to every form of hazard under the sun. This is a Focus Sash Endeavor set. There's so much that Scolipede can do that people laughed at that I cannot wait to just punch so many holes at this thing. But my last pick, I wanted another defogger, just in case. And I was looking at the defoggers that were left. And Empoleon was left. aside from that, there wasn't a whole lot that was taken. Latios was taken. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff left. Like Tentacruel and Starmie were both gone, so I couldn't get a Rapid Spinner. There was just a lot of defoggers gone, except for my boy Latios. Holy shit. Latios lasted until the final round. Not only did it last to the final round, it lasted 2 picks away from the end. Like, I was third to last in the draft for the final round. That is insane. Dragon Dance, Draco, Defog, Roost, Calm Mind, Psyshock. Holy ballsack. What were people thinking when they let me draft this thing? Oh my gosh. The fact that I can now have a Defog Latios, I'm not forced into bringing Mega Sableye and Gligar to help with hazards. I can bring Mega Sableye and Latios, which is really nice. This does double up on Psychic and Dragon typings, which means if they're scared of a physical QREM with Outrage, I'm going to bring Latios and I'm going to drop Dracos, because it hits just as hard. I wouldn't say just as hard. It hits really freaking hard. This is also another base 110 mon, so it outspeeds the base 100s, base 105s, base 102s like Garchomp. Oh my gosh. I am so happy I got this thing. Holy crap. So, this is the final roster of the Baltimore Braviaries. Oh my gosh. So much power. So much bulk. Oh, this team, it's me. I finally have a team that is me. Fast Volt Turn, Baton Pass options, good wall options, good surprise walls, good surprise offensive. Oh my lord. This team is me. If you guys could, leave a like on the video. Leave a comment what you think of my team. I've already gotten a lot of feedback. I already know what a lot of people think of my team. But please, leave a comment saying what you think about my team. I will leave a link to Erik, Dhilan, and a couple other people in the description. If you could go check all those people out for me, I would really appreciate it. With all that being said, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. I will be recording the team builder tonight. This should be going up Saturday, the 4th. The following Saturday is when I have my first battle to be uploaded. So I'll be recording the team builder and putting it up before then sometime. But I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.